Today is Wednesday, March 4th, 2020. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Winners at War, Week 4.
This episode was titled, I Like Revenge, and that was spoken by Sandra. All right, this episode kicks off right after Tribal Council. We got to see some of that aftermath back at Sele. It's night 9, and Rob's telling him that he felt bad for Ethan. Sorry, Adam, too.
Yep, he said, sorry, buddy, but I felt trapped. But at least he's already, putting it in there and trying to smooth things over.
And Adam tells us that he told Rob and let the whole plan out, and then he got left out.
Oh, but Rob betrayed him. Oh, Adam. Okay, but Adam had to make a lot of amends, so he made the rounds and let people and admitted his, I'm sorry.
Yeah, even before he said that, we got to see some exchanges with him and Ben and him and Michele. And then he started the apology tour. I liked Ben. Dadgummit, Adam.
I thought Ben was going to smack him and Michele too.
Yeah. Michele was really putting it on him. Now you see what happens when you run around telling our secrets.
That's right.
And then Adam promises not to work with Rob and Parvati again. Rob's still somewhat optimistic. We see him and Parvati talking, and he says, we'll figure a way out.
Yeah, she seems a little down.
Yeah, she did. Well, she just lost her number 1.
Yeah, she did, and she was targeted. Her name was written down a lot, not Rob's.
Yep. Over on Dakal, though, it's morning on day 10, quite the sunrise, and it's a totally different story.
True.
Yul's running around saying morning to everyone and giving hugs, telling us they are all happy. It's happy times. They are on a roll, and they all like each other. And me, Nick, Wendell, and Sophie have an alliance going that's really working, he tells us.
And that's about the time I thought, uh-oh.
Yul's going. Yul's getting voted out.
He shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have said that they were so together.
We see, and we actually got to see this in one of the extra clips where Sophie was looking out across the water and they could see her and Nick could see the Edge of Extinction. And she tells a story about going to prison, going on a prison tour.
As a child at from school.
Yeah.
Scared them all half to death. That's what it feels like. Look at them. They're out there.
Like they're in prison. She's terrified of going to Edge of Extinction.
That happened last time. There were a lot of people that were just terrified, especially women, seemed just terrified to go out there. It became so big in their minds. So that seems to be happening again.
Did you have any experience like Sophie described when you were in school? Did they take you to see anything, different careers or stuff like that?
I don't remember anything.
So I remember going to see the firefighters, and that was exciting, and that was really neat, and you could slide down the pole if you wanted, although we were probably too small to be doing that. But we did a tour. We didn't go to a prison, but we went to the city where the police were and the city jail and did a tour when I was it was definitely in grade school. I can remember we went by and you've heard me tell this story before, but they took us by and introduced us to a detective, and we saw a detective, and he started talking about what he was working on, and he had pictures from a murder scene that I saw. I can still remember seeing scissors with blood on them from when we did that. I mean, the kind of tour, like she went to a prison, but these kind of tours, they definitely happen. I'm sure other people did that. I don't know why they let us talk to that detective or why he thought it was okay to share details with us.
I think he's probably desensitized, and he just didn't think it through.
Yeah, but that certainly had an impact on me. It wasn't like, I'll never do crime or whatever. It was just like, oh my goodness, I'm looking at, even at that age, you're looking at something where things went way, way wrong, even if you don't fully understand or comprehend it. And it, even in my 50s, I can still remember seeing that.
Yeah, I think the only thing they ever did and it was at our high school. I don't remember them doing anything early on, but like in the 10th grade.
Showing you different careers?
No, the police came in and burned pot for us so we could smell it and know what to avoid.
Yeah. Oh,
and
so you could avoid it.
Avoid.
Yeah, did you look around and see who was taking big whiffs?
Actually, I didn't know anyone who did pot.
Yeah, I'm sure you
All
didn't.
through high school, I never knew anybody till my brother came back from Vietnam.
And shared that
I
with you.
didn't know anybody. I really didn't. I mean, I thought if people were sneaking booze, it was a big thing, but I didn't know anyone that did pot. So I don't know. It's a small town. I guess maybe I
grew up in a small town, but my neighborhood, I was probably the only one that wasn't doing that constantly after a certain age.
Yeah, but it was more prevalent when you came through
in
than when I did.
Time. Okay, sure.
You're younger.
I am. Okay, so I could relate to some of what Sophie was talking about, at least with the prison tour story and how much that scared her. And then, so she's translating that into being worried about going to Edge of Extinction.
I actually liked that insight because you don't see Sophie react much. She seems...
Well, you don't get a lot that makes her human.
Yes. Yeah, she seems... And I'm sure she's not with people she's comfortable with and loves and all that. But I see her as like cold, hard.
Gamebot.
Gamebot, yeah. And but to see that side of her, it's like, okay.
She's scared of something.
Got an insight into Sophie.
There you go. Human after all. We'll come back to that. That's kind of like a theme that comes up when we get to the tribal council recap. So that's the perfect segue to go over to Edge of Extinction there on day 10. This is a 2-day game cycle. It's only we got night 9 and then day 10 and 11 for this particular episode.
Yeah.
And Amber finds a box that's got the details for their next task there on Edge of Extinction. So they can each earn a fire token by transferring 20 logs of firewood from way up on the hill, but they have to do it one at a time and they have to complete by sundown. What did you think about this?
I had already thought, and nobody's getting medevaced. They're gonna, because it said they were gonna give them a really hard challenge, and there were a lot of photos this week from Edge of Extinction, and I just thought it's going to be something very challenging, and they're going to have a hard time with it, but I don't think anybody's actually going to go home. But I thought, I know they've had trouble before because of the amount of food they had before out there. They don't get much
limited
rice.
Amount.
Mm-hmm. But at least they've had some fish. But I know before with Edge of Extinction, they're like going up that hill is a major deal. Even to the point they didn't know if it was worth the trip up there to get the little bit of rice that was up there.
Yeah, that's what we heard some of them saying. And this was actually further up than that.
Yeah, and carrying a log, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you do it enough times, it will become a big deal.
Yeah, it's a total distance.
So I thought it was going to be hard on them.
Ethan started out thinking it wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, that's
on his
nothing.
first trip. I got this.
Got all day to do it.
And then it was all about how Natalie is not human. She's a machine.
She's
Danny
the
actually
beast.
said she's not human. Amber said she's a monster. And Ethan said she's a beast. And that's when he said self-doubt for him started creeping in about 10. But Natalie just kept going like she never changed her pace.
Yeah. About halfway through, he's like, I was very confident I could do this. Now not so much. But Danny, I think... she was talking about how people went too fast, but she didn't appear to be that far behind them, though she probably did pace herself a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they had to rush other than to get it done before sundown, but they weren't competing against each other. If they completed the task, they all got a token. So it wasn't the first one that got done. Otherwise, I would have just sat down because Natalie was going to get that hands down.
Yeah. I want to come back to that idea, too, because I think there's something to what you were saying there.
Okay.
So we get to see Ethan struggling. We know something's coming because they basically spoiled that.
Yeah.
Next time on Survivor, he starts sliding down on the rocks, and then he ends up having to stop after he says he had done 16, and medical comes in to check him, and they confirm, yep, he's got low blood pressure. And then if he's feeling like, she said, if you're feeling like you're going to faint, you're going to faint. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to
see, that's what
slow it
happens
down.
to my mom anytime she gets too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And now that she's older, even cooking, if she opens the oven door too much, then that happens to her.
Yep.
Her blood pressure drops out and her legs get wobbly and she gets faint. And so that's what was happening with him, I think. And it's from the heat when she gets overheated easily.
Mm-hmm.
And if she goes outside, we had to be very, very careful with her about that. So I thought, oh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, but they talk to him, and he takes a good long rest, it seems like. And then they tell him, well, you can keep going, but you're gonna have to honor that need to rest and sit down so that you don't take a fall and hurt yourself, which is where a lot of the danger comes in.
Yeah, he was about one trip or maybe a little more behind, trip and a half behind. So he rested for a good while.
Well, he had 4 more to go at that point, according to what he said.
Yes.
Yep.
But I mean, ahead of when the others finished.
Natalie talked about being flooded with emotion when she was finally done. She didn't let herself feel anything until then.
Mm-hmm.
She was just on task. And
That would be me. Shut it off. It's not happening. Don't think about it till it's over.
Amber was crying when she was done too, and she said that she was able to let it go. And I could totally relate to both of them in that. And when I've done the most I ever did was a half Ironman. I did a couple of those, and I can remember the last one that I did just being overwhelmed. I ended up crying just because I was so happy, and that took me over like 8.5 hours to finish that. So that took its toll for sure. And when you're out there doing it, when you're in the swim or where you're on the bike or the half marathon that you run at the end of that, you just have to get your mind in this place where there's this box around me, and I'm just going to move the box forward, and then I'll decide what's going to happen next, and then I'll move it forward, and I'll decide what's going to happen next. And you do that for hour after hour after hour as your body's depleting yourself and your muscles are getting weak. And
I remember when you first did the swim portion and the bike portion, the 100 miles or whatever it was of a marathon. You did those 2 segments, but you didn't
Ironman,
of an Ironman.
But I didn't run the marathon.
But you didn't run the marathon in time. I remember
because that's the way it was designed. It's like to get you ready for it.
Yeah, even by the time we got done with you doing the swim,
When I finished the 112
and all of
mile
that,
ride.
and get back, I was like, okay, I need to go back to the hotel and take a nap.
So you went and took a nap while I did the ride after I
you were doing
swam the 2.4 miles.
It was a long time, dude.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and I thought, it's too hot out here for I got to go to the hotel.
That's great.
So I thought I couldn't even handle watching you do the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was there a long time, and I thought, he just hit like 25 or 30 miles.
On the bike.
I think I have plenty of time to go back to
get
the
a
hotel.
nap. That's great.
And rest and have some lunch and come back.
Danny, on the other hand, did not seem to be fazed by it. She said she finished feeling like Rocky. She had her hands up above her head. She was doing good.
She's the only one that didn't show outwardly an emotional reaction other than just happy, but I guess that's an emotional
and
reaction.
then they all said that Ethan's journey, his what he was struggling with there was inspiring, so they all joined him on the last trip up to get his last log. They walked along with him.
Yeah, he seemed truly moved by that. I don't know how they did that, but
well, they had been
good on
resting
them.
for quite a while, I think, so they one more. But yeah, that was a really nice gesture on their part. And then when they're coming back down, they show Amber one more time, and she said that was a real bonding moment for them on Edge of Extinction, and it was a strong moment, and it felt really good. And then we get to see Ethan's basically done with that task, so they all end up with a fire token. The thing that struck me more than the challenge and all that was what she said.
The bonding.
It's such a strong bonding moment. So you can imagine if one of those 4 ends up in the final tribal,
And the others aren't.
and they're on the jury, they've got this super strong bonding moment that happened. And the more of those moments that you accrue while you're out there, this is another.
It does make a difference.
It makes a difference. Chris's win certainly
Now,
defines and shows that.
Is Amber going to give her vote to Ethan if Rob is there? No, of course not.
No.
And I don't even know that Natalie would give it to Ethan if Jeremy was there. But in the end, if there's just other random people that they don't have a strong attachment to, then that's your person.
So they're building.
You're bonded.
They're building those bonds those attachments that support of each other.
That was a bonding exercise with a reward for everyone.
Because, yes, exactly. That's why I wanted to circle back to it. Because of the way it was structured, with everyone got something, they all got their participation token. Instead of structuring it so first got more or winner take all.
Yeah, it was only a challenge against themselves.
So if they had structured it differently, that bond wouldn't have necessarily been, at least it wouldn't have been that strong.
It would have been a competition against.
Right. And so there would be some degree of I didn't, they did, they have, I don't, that would be a factor there. But it's not structured that way. It's structured to build this strong bond out on Edge of Extinction.
Yep.
Okay. Enough of that.
Which is what we saw before when Chris came back.
Yep, exactly. That's the reason I'm bringing it up.
Okie dokie.
On back to Sele there on day 11. Michele.
Rob's doing a pretty good job, I think, of
keeping
kind of
it
bonding
light
with Michele and keeping it light and just being personable. And
basically finding out that she was in between 9 and 19 when Rob played. So he kind of differentiated themselves there.
Well, and I actually was kind of surprised she shared about, feeling like a lot of people felt she didn't deserve her win. But, and that's pretty cool coming from, hey, you win. That's it.
As he won the small little game, the hook game that they were playing at the time.
So I thought, no, that's good. That's kind of easy. Just having a moment without making a big deal about it.
Yeah.
And, wow.
Good. It was good. It was a good demonstration of social skills on both their parts.
Yes.
There was a sharing and a supporting and a laugh, and so all that.
And Jeremy's observing Adam trying to do things and busy himself and do things for
washing
people.
the pots and fetching
Kissing
water.
Butt, in other words.
Jeremy said that Adam reminded him of one of his kids when they've been caught doing something.
This was what I thought was the most telling, was Denise saying, wow, Adam's pitching in.
Yeah, another theme that's going to get repeated over on the other tribe. Yeah.
Okay.
Which should be telling us, hadn't been doing that.
This is the real beauty to me, is Rob and Parv talking, and Rob is approaching, Adam and talking, and then Rob just tells Parvati, hey, we're going to have to lie to Jeremy because Adam's not participating, and I need to lie to Jeremy.
Yeah, I can make up a story.
Yeah,
I can throw him under the bus. Yeah, we're not able just to pull him in through normal conversation.
You're
He's
not with me.
doing a good job of avoiding giving them anything they can use against him.
Yeah, and
so
Adam's
he's just
so
going to make it up.
Whereas before he would have gone along, now he's too afraid. And so
he's trying to do the right thing, but Rob's going to undermine him anyway.
Yep.
So he goes to Jeremy and Michele, and wow,
what do?
What a soft pitch. He didn't go, like, you had the sense that he was going to go over to him and say, he said da da da, or that he was going to make some declarative statement, but he used it as a question. How am I supposed to handle this guy constantly trying to connect back with me?
Talk to me.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
What should I do about Adam? What an awesome demonstration of an open-ended question
I thought that was brilliant
for
on
throwing him
Rob's
under
part.
the bus.
Seriously.
Yeah, you really
Kudos
slow played
to you,
that.
Rob.
And it works because afterwards you see Michele and Jeremy talking, and it's Adam's got to go.
Yeah,
He's done.
that's it.
Done,
He's
baby.
done. We are sick of this, and we are getting him out of here. Oh, Lord, this is so beautiful. Of course, had they gone to tribal, that might have played out, but who knows now that. Okay, over
You just
to
can't
the...
help yourself.
Just,
Okay, Dakal, day 11. Tyson and Sarah are checking each other's breath. Well, Sarah checks Tyson's breath.
yeah. Tyson's like, no thanks.
Yeah. Kind of suckered her in on that one. So it seems like she's like giving him challenges to do because this sequence is all about them getting a little buddy.
Yep.
Bonding a little here. So he goes to do
And
one arm push up, pulls up on the bamboo, and he says he almost punches himself in the face. And then she's asking him how many coconut bicep curls he can do, and his reply is infinite. And we see him go out to go out with the Hawaiian sling and get an octopus. I thought when I saw the picture of that it was a fish, but it was an octopus.
No, there was a picture where they caught a fish out there, but this was different than what the picture we saw.
And Tyson does have something figured out correctly for sure. He says Wendell, Nick, Yul, and
What's her
someone
name?
else.
Sophie.
Someone else is playing way under the radar. Oh yeah, Sophie. So far under the radar, I didn't know her name. Didn't remember her name. And that's where he's pitching it. We saw from Next Time on Survivor to Sandra and Tony.
That just told me you haven't been watching as much as you said you were.
The unconnected is the way he's describing them.
Mm-hmm. But he was right.
Yeah,
He's right.
Absolutely. Had that figured out completely correctly. Unfortunately, he had some missteps. Even before the season began, like a year ago, that Yul tagged him with. And then with telling Tony that he was thinking about going after Sandra. So Sandra says, yeah, I was just giving him the oh yeah.
No, he told Yul, not Tony, that he was going after Sandra, and Yul decided to tell on Tyson.
Right, told Sandra. My bad.
Yes, and that was all there was. And that's why I chose Tyson to go home, because I thought Sandra's not that forgiving.
And she tells us in her confessional, you better hope we win, Tyson, because
wrong.
You're in deep poop. All right, it's day 11, time for an immunity/reward challenge. No one has a reaction to Ethan being gone that I was able to see.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah. Okay, so 4 tribe members are going to have to pull the boat with 3 passengers, and they pull it up some platforms, and the passengers have to climb out of the boat, up on the platform, up a ladder, jump out, and retrieve a key that's suspended from an arm hanging out over the water, and it's got a little buoy in it so it doesn't sink if they drop it.
Yeah.
And they're progressively further out. The reward, and so they use the key to release the puzzle pieces and then solve the puzzle at the end. The reward is 4 egg-laying chickens.
Yeah, so we both had Red Tribe losing.
Yes.
I wasn't sure why. I had made my picks last night, so...
I know exactly why I made my choice.
Because I did, and you followed me.
No.
I told you my choice this morning.
Okay.
I said, at least I think I did it last night. And you said, you should go check.
Yes. Given your
After
recent
what I
track
did
record.
last week.
Yes. Yep.
But I did. I had actually made them.
Yep.
So I did go in and change because I had Rob safe. And then I read what everybody was saying on Facebook. And then I got nervous, so I went.
Which is your standard pattern.
I know.
Okay, what did you think about what Parv said before the challenge started? So we should name that bench the Sandra sit-out bench.
Yeah. Well, that could have backfired.
Yeah.
Because you never know when somebody's going to get upset about it.
Take offense.
And Parv was like, no, she's proud of it. But I thought, but you never know out there what somebody will use against you. So I don't think I would have said
Actually,
that.
Sandra said that she didn't mind.
I know she did. But you never know when somebody will change their mind about
Sandra
something.
indeed does sit out along with Tony.
Yep.
Because they got to sit out 2 this week. So it starts off fairly even. They pull up to that first platform, and both Sophie for Dakal and Denise for Sele jump out and miss.
Were you surprised that Tony volunteered?
No,
sit out?
not necessarily. No.
Okay.
I don't know if he's got strong water skills or not, but
Yeah, I was thinking maybe
they've
not.
got such a good tribe. I don't know that it mattered a whole lot.
Yeah.
Tony's got a lot of dense muscle. Sometimes it's harder
For them to swim.
whether he's
sink.
jumping off a
Or
thing
being pulled, he's,
or trying to pull the boat. Yeah. So they had better choices, and so I don't guess I was.
Yeah.
So yeah, both Sophie and Denise missed the first
Okay.
jump.
What I want to know is who decided who was doing the jumping on Sele.
Yeah, that's an interesting question
'Cause-
because it was all the shorties.
All three people were the shortest people on the tribe. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I bet they don't do that again. Next time, they'll have at least one taller person up there.
Between all the people who were there trying to make that decision, all the critical thinking minds that were available, they made some really bad choices, didn't
Well,
they?
I truly think that's why Denise didn't keep going, or maybe she did, and they just didn't show us because of time. But she's shorter than the others even,
Yeah.
and I really
The
don't
shortest.
think she had a chance to even get up there.
No, but she did try. She made one try.
She did try.
Right, so we see Nick get the first one for Dakal, and Parv missed, and then
Sophie missed first.
I already covered that.
Oh, okay.
Kim and Nick got the second and third for Dakal, and then they're off to start working on the puzzle. Meanwhile, Sele's still there trying to get them. Adam got the first one for Sele when he went after both Denise and Parv missed, and then he ends up getting the second, and then the third one is just a super struggle for him.
So he got them all three. I thought Parv got one.
I don't recall it that way.
Oh, okay. I thought he just got two, but I could be wrong. He went so many times. I thought, oh, he must just be beyond exhausted.
I wrote, Dakal's working on the puzzle and Sele's still jumping. Adam misses again and again and again. And Probst declares the challenge a disaster for Sele. And then he finally got it. But at that point, it looked like Dakal was more than halfway done with their puzzle. What did Probst say?
It has become the biggest blowout ever on Survivor.
Yeah, it was very encouraging. I don't think Sele could even hear him at that point.
What's a good thing? Well, I would, I'd really be on Probst about that, except I was right there with him. I was like, okay, well, we
called this one
guessed
wrong.
and
Yep.
it was all over.
Well, you really thought Dakal was
that they were done.
they were crushing it because Probst tells us that Nick actually did this challenge and he won it in his season in
Yeah,
David
so you
versus
think-
Goliath. So
Okay, well,
that
that's a done
explains
deal.
why Sophie's not up there.
Okay, but then Adam finally, and you thought he was putting on. He was trying to just get camera time when he was pausing, and I said,
I thought he was selling the
is
drama.
not. No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he's looking for his serene
No.
moment,
He was just trying to
the
breathe.
triumphant comeback.
I do not believe that at all. You are 100% wrong.
Okay, you thought it was all struggle, no drama.
I exactly.
Okay.
I know it.
You know it
I know
in your heart,
in my heart.
in your gut.
That boy was just trying to get breath to do it again. So good on Adam.
All right.
He didn't give up.
Yeah, so Nick and Sarah are working on it for Dakal, but they've hit an impasse as Rob and Michele get started on theirs.
Oh man.
And Probst, they can definitely hear him this time. Probst says, Rob lost the last two in a row on puzzles.
Yeah. I was like, did you hear him? He blamed everything on Rob.
He dumped on him really hard there.
It's like,
But Sele
Man.
started catching up. Michele and Rob were just
that
tearing
was
it up.
beautiful. That
At first,
was
you thought it
beautiful.
was Rob doing all that,
Yeah.
but when we went back and
No,
looked,
she
you
was
could see
slapping them on there,
it was
too.
equal contribution. They were tearing it up, and like Probst was describing, they couldn't afford to make mistakes, so they had to be making smart choices. As the call
Mm-hmm.
was taking theirs apart, reassembling, taking apart, reassembling. We were looking at it and
It's like, what are they doing?
why would they put that piece there
What
that blocked
happened?
the open space below it? Yeah,
Yeah.
so you could see that part of the reason why they were having to do that.
Well, I could see they did that because they're like, okay, this piece goes here. If we just set it here for right now, maybe it'll help us find the piece that goes below. So I could kind of understand it, but
But then the lead flipped, and Sele ended up in the lead as Dakal was taking it apart and restarting again.
And Probst finally caught on that, whoa, hey, wait a minute. I think we got a game here. We still got a competition going.
It was a pretty incredible comeback.
I think he'd just written them off and wasn't really paying all that much attention until...
Well, based on how events were playing out, there's good reason for that. Yeah.
Yep, but
no, Sele makes a great comeback.
So that was so much fun. At that point, I didn't care about points or anything or whatever. It was just really fun.
Yeah, it was exciting to watch that.
That was awesome. And
leaving the Dakal tribe stunned as Sele heads back to camp to meet their egg-laying chickens.
All right.
And Adam tells us that his mom knew that when he put his mind to something, there was no stopping him. So we get an emotional Adam story.
She was right.
That was kind of odd, though. Usually you get the confessional after the challenge from the tribe. It's someone from the tribe that's going to tribal council. Yeah. So that stood out to me. Yeah.
Well, I guess they wanted to show that. So that's where they found a spot to put it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe nobody on the other tribe had anything to say that was better than that.
Okay, we're back over at the Dakal camp, and we cut to a nice big hornet wasp nest. You're talking about how there might be honey in there, and those look like hornets, wasp to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking no on that. That just looked like a big ball of pain to me.
And Pat, Tyson's comment about people patting all the puzzle people on the back saying, it's not your fault. And he said, yes, it is.
Yeah, and this is great for me. I want Nick to go. So he pitches to Sarah right away. Let's get rid of Nick.
Sarah, then Yul and Sandra.
Here's where we circle back to that similar to what Denise said about Adam. We get Yul saying, and Tyson said it too, and then Yul sort of confirming it. He said, yeah, Nick, who does little at camp. Tyson said he did nothing. But even Yul said, yeah, I'm on board. Nick, who does little at camp, doesn't deserve to stay, or something to that effect. And this is Nick's same problem from his first season, right? That was why they were going to vote him out originally in the first episode.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said. He does nothing.
Makes no contribution in camp.
If Pat hadn't gotten injured, then Nick was supposed to be the one to go out first.
So I was really disappointed to hear that the perception of him was the same.
Camp.
Yeah. To hear Yul say it that way, even though it was a con that he was given Tyson, he had no intention of voting for Nick, we find out. But to hear him confirm that about Nick's behavior,
even
just
Tyson said,
surprising.
This seems too easy. So that he was getting a little something that this just seems a little too easy.
Yeah.
And Wendell tells us the truth, that Tyson is a dead man walking. He is the most dangerous on the island because he's connected.
And we don't want to give him an opportunity to make a connection with a merge or a swap.
To get in with Boston Rob and Parv. Anybody else can go later because they got to know that's coming.
Yeah, and you get to see two different approaches between the two tribes, a contrast. This is why everyone was so hungry to see Dakal again, to see how they were going to manage it. Because the big pitch for Tyson and what Tony talks about is that they're equal targets. And so they serve as meat shields for each other, with Sandra somewhere distant behind them.
Well, and Nick at least goes out and does pitching as well to Tony and to Sandra and saying, Tyson's got to go. And he's been after both of you. He's been throwing your names out there. And so I thought, okay, I gave him credit for doing that.
Tyson's pitch seemed to resonate with Tony. He knew there was some truth to the whole meat shield theory that had been working we've been seeing it work over on Sele.
Well, I liked Tony's assessment.
Tyson has value to me as a shield. Nick does not.
That's right. They're both numbers.
Nick's not a threat, he said.
But Nick's not a shield. Tyson is. But, I guess he changed his mind somewhere along the way. Sarah tells us that Kim's 100% with her.
Mm-hmm. Yes, on Nick, but it all hinges on Sandra, she says.
Well, my thought was that...
and this is where we get the title from Sandra. What she actually said, the full sentence was, I like revenge, which is the title, but I like $2 million more.
That's right.
That's how it finished. Is anything else you want to cover before we go to tribal council?
Well, just my feeling was that they were going to have to let it go because Sandra just told him up front, not doing it. He tried to take me out. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to vote with you. I think she told him. And so they all said, okay, then let's just do a united vote. We can all.
You're interpreting the result because
yes,
what she says
Sandra wouldn't do it.
By saying I like revenge, but I like 2 million more, says I'm not necessarily voting for Tyson.
Not to me.
Okay, how would you break that apart?
That Tyson is dangerous, and if he's coming after her, I like $2 million better. And he's coming after me. He's got to go for me to stay in the game and get to the 2 mil.
And they had pitched her on the fact that he has value to her because he's a shield. He'll be targeted before her.
She don't care. She's always a target. She knows it.
Huh. I would say there's a different way to interpret it than what you. I thought they included that to inject some uncertainty into the result.
Okay.
But I understand you're kind of looking at it backwards. So you're through the benefit of hindsight.
I see. Okay.
Let's go to tribal council there.
Thank you for your assessment.
On night 11. I'll help you understand this, hon.
I see. Mm-hmm. I think I have my reasoning down just fine.
Yes, you do. Tony catches the first question at tribal council. Probst wants to know what the state of the tribe is. Tony says, well, you got personal bonds that are tight, but
It's tribal, Jeff.
This is easy from a game perspective.
That made me think, oh, Tyson.
And then he moved on to Yul, asking him if he was using any complex mathematical models to make his decisions. And Yul says, no, keeping it simple, no math this time. Looking at the close connections, not wanting to lock anything in to stay flexible because that's how you need to play these days. So, yeah, that was all good.
Yeah, and Sophie said, well, they do all like each other and that No, I don't know if she actually said that. The others did.
I don't think she did.
Yeah, but she said it's really about the person that we can all come together against and vote for.
I think she was talking about the difficulties of getting everyone accurately, 8 people accurately to unite against the one person that they were going to vote out.
And Sandra said, well, she wants it to be a happy group when they get back to
You
camp.
skipped over Nick. And that's where
did.
he made a declaration sort of out of the blue without being questioned. He just piped up and said, I want you to know I'm with you guys if we shuffle or switch. To which they all replied, yes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Tyson, me 3.
I guess that's why I ignored it. It was kind of like, okay.
He's just trying to, after Sophie's uniting 8, he's just putting he knows that he's being targeted by Tyson, so he's letting everyone know, I am with you, I am on board, shuffle, switch.
I still think they were poking fun at him.
I'm your boy. They
did.
definitely did.
You know.
That was their response, yes.
It's like, yeah, me too,
yep.
me too, yeah. That carries a lot of weight there.
Tyson jumped on Sandra's declaration about going with the flow and said, yes, that is Sandra's solid game plan. It's all about not me. What did you think when Yul said that about Tony?
Tony's a really caring person. Who knew?
I thought he was a unlikable person. We'll just say that. They bleeped out what the word that he used, I think. So I thought he was a this, which was not a nice person. But it turns out he's very caring.
Or a
which seemed it tickled and caught Tony off guard. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I would have said that, Yul. And what was the point? Was he trying to?
Well, speaking of what was the point, why
distract from
all the discussion about being starstruck? Why did Probst go down that angle? I wonder why they decided to include that in the edit, the whole starstruck thing.
I don't know either.
Get Kim saying she was a little bit, and then Sarah jumps on that immediately with like an aw shucks punch in the arm, like Kim would be starstruck of Sarah. So she made fun of her by doing that. And Sophie said she was starstruck by half the tribe, to which I thought, everyone wants to know who you're leaving out now.
Sandra would talk to me. She's queen. Sarah said something about taking down the queen. Sandra's like, that's been done before, and by you.
That sidetracked Sarah completely. Yeah, she finished. She was supposed to, she had credit for the kill.
Saying, well, yeah, that's in my living room.
That trophy's in my living room, yeah.
Yeah.
Sandra starstruck? Nope, not a bit. Nick tells us he's starstruck by Parvati's giggle, but she's married, so he has to let go of that.
Why did Nick
I guess it was
feel
maybe
the
leading
need to
to that.
say that he felt he was the reason that we're at tribal council tonight? How does that help his case?
It's a kind of a double whammy, because he said that being starstruck was he felt was a loss of control, and that led to a lack of confidence on his part. So, yeah, and then you get the part about owning that him not solving the puzzle that he had solved before ended up causing him to be there.
You think Tyson had some inkling when he said we're all on the same page, which makes us on different pages, maybe?
I think that's just him being clever. The takeaway I had from Nick was that he was rattled by knowing that someone was coming for him, that he was going to get at least one vote. He was rattled, and that just came out with some of these missteps and the things that he said about having a lack of confidence and being told a plan that he was going to follow and trying to give reassurance that swap or whatever, merge, I'm with you.
I don't know that Tyson was all that worried. Do you think he was?
No.
Okay,
No.
I didn't either.
No, I'm pretty sure Tyson was blindsided given what he says.
Okay, time to vote. So, one for Kim. Were you surprised to see that come up?
No, because they showed Nick voting for Kim.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Were you surprised when you saw Nick?
I was surprised when you asked me the question.
That was... Hey.
Well, he said that he's afraid that Tyson has an idol. They showed that. So, no, I didn't really get a chance to be surprised at that.
Yeah, we had talked about it.
Two in a row surprises for you, though.
Hey, you know I have lots of them now.
Okay, so Sarah holds on to her steal a vote, and Sandra feels no need to play her idol, so we got no extra action, nothing from Sophie or Kim. We actually still don't know the final state of that one, if it's split or united now.
Well,
but in any case, there's nothing from that. So, like you said,
Nick voted for Kim, and Tyson voted for Nick, and everybody else voted for Tyson.
Yeah. Yul told him he was sorry as he was on the way to get his torch.
Sorry, dude.
Tyson said, that was too easy. I should have seen it coming, which to me means that he was blindsided, to answer your question.
Yep.
And then Nick confesses, I was so worried. Yes.
You should have been.
Now, what did you think about Tyson's choice for who to give his fire token to? Who did you think he was going to give?
I thought he was going to give it to Rob.
I did too. I expected that too.
I was like, oh.
I thought the buddy poker connection would pay off.
That was just, the heck with you guys to the people that just voted him out. I'll give it to Nick.
So he gives his fire token to Nick and says, here you go, from your hero.
Yeah.
You're starstruck.
Yeah. Yeah, he might regret that later, but I doubt it.
Okay, what'd you think overall? How does this
I loved it. I thought it was a great episode.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
it broke your way.
Huh?
It broke your way.
Yeah. Even beside that, I mean, that's my first vote-off point this season.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gotten anything else, right? And I've been losing safe picks, so, I got a 5-point week. Woohoo.
Yeah, good job.
But beside that, I was so caught up in the episode that it was just fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah, you got some good insights to the different players, and then of course how they're shaping things at EOE.
Yeah, and I thought there was a lot going on too, and we'd already said we thought there was going to be next week should be the week, and we're thinking from what they showed that they're going to go stay in 2 tribes.
You said that like you were making a statement, but it was really a question because we didn't talk about it a whole lot. But we couldn't get any clue from the flags.
Well, no, but they never put
actually
a third one.
They have had different colored flags that we've looked at and noticed before and went, wow, I wonder if that's the third tribe color.
No.
You don't remember it, but it has occurred in the past.
That's not happened.
Okay.
And that's
this
right.
is us all day long.
If I don't remember it, it has never happened.
Right. Yep.
But anyway, I think the 2 trays he had was just for men and women.
Right,
so
right.
that's kind of says to me that, Oh, okay. Well, they're just gonna switch it up, but they're still gonna stay in two tribes.
Well, regardless if there were 2 or 3,
Which is
in the end result,
weird.
he would do the 2 trays because it's gender based.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wouldn't.
Well,
I wouldn't
it
read
could
too
be
much
3
into
tribes then. Actually, I'd kind of that would
that. And
be.
at 15 makes more sense. Although you can always do 2 and send someone off to do something or
Yeah,
whatever and bring
you
them
can.
back to the losing tribe.
But there's nothing really set off to send them somewhere.
This
for
is
that
winners
this
at
season.
war. They can do
Well, that's
whatever.
True. That's true. So maybe there will be
They
3.
could go
then. I
have
hadn't thought
a
about that.
meeting with Cochrane.
I think so.
Okay. Well, it's happened before.
Well, it has. That's
Yeah.
true. But that's why I don't think it'll happen again.
Okay.
And but anyway, yeah, I guess there could still be 3, so we don't really know that for sure.
No, not yet. Maybe there'll
Okay.
be more clues in the
Well, that
preview
would be more
videos or the
evenly distributed
photos.
with 5, 5, and 5.
math works better, huh?
It really does. Though we know that Yul's not doing math, so
He's keeping it simple.
yeah.
It's working for him.
And so this was quite interesting. Michele said she had to get stuck on an island with her ex-boyfriend.
We're on-
So we know she and Wendell are on the same drive.
Next time on Survivor. Sorry, let me do the lead in.
We've already been talking about next on Survivor.
Next time on Survivor.
Okay, go for it.
We did. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Drop
I
your
already
buffs
did.
and yes, and they're on Sele.
Already said-
We even know that they're both on Sele
Yes, we do.
because you can see the blue
So I
buff
said
on her arm when
both
she
of
says that. And that's pretty much it for next time on Survivor.
Oh, that was cute, though. Tyson saying he'd rather swallow his token than give it to anybody.
You just look down at your paper and see that.
I saw that. Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot he said that. That was cute.
So they're going to hit the reset button and give them a couple of game cycles before they do the merge to see how that plays out. So that'll be interesting to see how the dynamics shift next time. That'll be exciting. And maybe that'll breathe some new life into Parvati and Rob's game.
Yep. So now Tyson is the only one on Edge of Extinction who does not have a token.
That's true. And he stands to give Natalie a run for her money, potentially.
True. True, true, true. And Tyson's in better shape, I think, than he's been in other seasons he's been on.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Because
He seems to be.
he's not that, I don't mean this to say that he's not working out and stuff like that, but he's been a stay-at-home dad. In his first season, he was a professional cycler, bicycle racing. And so, I mean, those guys are just incredible. And I think some of that's still what's serving him now.
You think?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, maybe he still does that, but he looks like he's doing more and more active in this season.
Could be, but I just think for his original season when he was still
I
riding.
didn't remember him as doing much activity before, like out fishing and doing other things like that when they were. But I could be wrong. Frequently happens. But anyway, who do you think's going next?
Oh, no clue. That's really hard until you know how things shake up. It's just a big random
Well,
draw.
you know, Michele and Wendell.
Yeah.
Are they going to try to get rid of each other so it'll be more comfortable for them, or will they work together, or are
We
they
don't
with
know.
other people that would be jealous if they work together? Throws a whole new dynamic.
I think the
in there.
more interesting question there is, does anyone else know about that? Because that's
Oh,
what'll
that
be
they do.
perceived as potentially having more value, more power.
True.
So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a randomness until you get some idea of how things shake out, and they may share some of those details. They may not. Depends on what we get in the extra videos, whatever the press people release over the next week. Otherwise, right now
Yeah.
it's like flip. Just pick someone.
Yeah, we don't know if it's
You could get someone like Yul who's in this super fantastic position right now, and he ends up being odd man out, and so he's just the obvious choice if that tribe, that new Dakal, new Sele, or whatever it is, ends up being,
Well, that's
ends
why
up
you,
going to tribal.
don't want to burn your bridges too much before a swap.
Right. So there's lots of resentment between Rob and Parvati, and then Michele and Jeremy, Adam, Ben, and Denise. So there's definitely that could flip. Denise could end up on a tribe with Rob and Parvati, or either one of them, and she could get singled out to be voted out, even though she's got an idol. I was just picking someone.
She could, but she could also
You just end up
go in. You go in with them too.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the conversations that they've had, though we do know that she's had conversations with Parv.
Plenty of people end up being voted out and lose the game after a shuffle swap kind of thing like this. So they call it swap screwed. And that just happens to castaways.
Yep. Well, I can't wait to find out who's on what tribe and how many tribes are there.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right, what about a JSFL update after this interesting week?
I forgot all about that.
How did things play out there in our fantasy league?
All right, we have 32 people who lost their USB this week. There are 4 people tied for first place with 19 points, I believe. 73 people lost a safe point. And congratulations to the 108 people who gained a vote-off point.
Yay.
Yes. Side challenge. Tied for first with 17 points is Drew, Jake Kindred, Jeremiah, Parker, Rebecca, and Stacy. So a lot of
Big
people
group.
up there.
Yeah.
Yep. With 16 points, Cold Mike, Justin, Jonathan, and Slappy. With 15 points, Brandon, Cameron, and Jack. And with 14 points, Carl and Chris.
Okay. So what's the span there in the side challenge? 14 to
14,
17.
15, 16, and 17.
Okay, cool. Exciting times as we head into the first swap where the game dynamics have the potential, at least, to change completely.
Yeah. Well, even the people tied for first in side challenge are 2 points below the lead people
top, yeah.
in JSFL.
Good deal.
But fun.
Anything else you want to say before we start wrapping it up?
I can't think of anything. I think maybe on Saturday if something else comes up.
Speaking of Saturday, that's when we do the listener feedback show. We turn it over to you guys. Let the super fans take a turn sharing their observations. Maybe there's something from your particular walk in life, your life experience, that you might be able to share to help us see these events through a different lens. It's always great when we get to hear that. Did you get to tour a prison when you were a kid in school? Well, what are you looking forward to seeing the most after this swap? How do you think things are going to play out? What did you think about Edge of Extinction this week? And who do you think is going to get voted out next? Who's still doing really good and who's still in danger of leaving before the merge? Is Operation Meat Shield going to take over for both the tribes, or are we still going to see them using different strategies? Looking forward to hearing what you thought. Feedback's due on Saturday, noon Pacific time. We ask that you keep it, whether you write it or you record it yourself or call our voicemail line, keep it under 3 minutes. Parker, under 3 minutes if you can. We'd appreciate that. He was talking about the Franken edit, so I got to put one
You're
out
poking
there
him
for him
the
again.
Franken edit.
Yeah.
I get it.
Definitely. So the voicemail line's 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. The email joannandstacyshow@gmail.com. You can always find that at the website where you got the show notes and links to extra videos and all that good stuff. Get SFP, GETSFP.com. Click on the little read more piece there and you'll see the full show notes for each episode, and
There's
that's where the
lots of good
archives
stuff in the show notes there as far as
Sometimes,
links and stuff.
Yeah, and when we're regularly, our provider that we use, Libsyn, adds new ways for us to share the podcast. So whenever I see those, I try to add them in. So you can find us on Google Music and on Spotify, and they do an audio version that goes to YouTube. So there's no actual video. It's just our logo up on the screen, but you get the audio that way if you're subscribed to YouTube. And And of course, iTunes still works, and I added a couple of more, some of the radio ones. I think iHeartRadio were on there too now. So yeah, I'll usually have links for those different services if there's one of those that you prefer more than the other.
Yep, I don't do none of that.
Okay. We were all curious where you were on what your position was on that.
You know me.
We're looking forward to hearing from you. Have a good one.